Hi, my name is Lindsay Howard, and something that I wanted to discuss is brought on by the recent release of a harmless children's toy, a baby doll for girls or boys called the Breast Milk Baby. Um, it's received a lot of negative PR by really ignorant people that don't understand the benefits of breastfeeding, and I'm concerned that before the positive effects of this doll really reach people, that some of the negative myths about breastfeeding will discourage some young mother from feeding her child. So what I wanted to do right now is address a couple of breastfeeding myths and why they're not true, and just try to get the positive information out there as far as I can. One myth is that you have to prepare your nipples during pregnancy to toughen them up, or the baby will be too rough on them. And that's something that's absolutely not true. Breastfeeding, the act of breastfeeding, will prepare your nipples for breastfeeding, and that's it. There's never been any toughening exercise that's been proven to work for preparing a woman's nipples for breastfeeding. But a lot of women have sustained injury to the nipples by stretching them and rubbing them beyond what they're supposed to be. Breastfeeding is very natural for the nipple, and it's not going to help it any to stretch it beyond its capacity. Another myth is that there are certain women that are predisposed to having nipple soreness problems during breastfeeding. Women who have fair skin, red hair, or blue eyes. I guess the theory here being that it's because they have delicate skin. But this really, again, it's a myth without basis. No study has ever shown that these women are more susceptible to any kind of nipple pain. Women that don't know how to properly position the baby at the breast are the ones that are going to have problems. And the only way to fix that is breastfeeding education, widespread breastfeeding education. Another myth is that if you don't start breastfeeding your baby immediately after birth, then breastfeeding will fail. Certainly it is in a woman and a baby's best interest to begin feeding as soon as birth after birth as possible, pardon me. But some babies, for whatever reason, just aren't interested in breastfeeding immediately afterwards. Some babies and mothers have emergency complications that make it so that separation is necessary in order to save their lives. And the thought that these women shouldn't even bother trying to breastfeed is ridiculous, because particularly if you have an ill newborn or a premature newborn, pumping the breast and giving that baby its mother's breast milk is the best thing you can do for it. And so, you hate to hear about women who were convinced that it was against the odds for them to breastfeed because of initial separation. I mean, we don't ever want to tell women that. Another myth is that you have to time your baby's feeds, especially during the first few weeks, to avoid sore nipples. And what that means is that doctors will often tell women, okay, don't feed the baby for any more than 15 minutes, because after they've gotten the milk out, if they keep nursing just as a pacifier, using the breast as a pacifier just to satisfy a sucking need, then you're going to get sore nipples. That is a very dangerous myth, because on top of not being true, if the baby is positioned properly, it can suck on your breast all day and night and you won't get sore. Except maybe a tiny bit initially, which is very normal and is nothing you can't overcome. Women who are told to limit their baby's breastfeeding to 15 minutes or 10 minutes or 20 minutes or whatever it is, your baby will not end up getting the proper nutrition that it needs from the breast. There are two different kinds of milk. There's the foremilk and the hindmilk in each breast during a feed. And the foremilk is kind of a thin, like thirst-quenching refresher, and the hindmilk is the really thick, nutritive milk. And a lot of times, especially since it can take 5 minutes for some women to have a letdown, for the milk to come down into the breast, what you end up with is a baby who's only getting the foremilk because mom stops them from nursing before the hindmilk is gone. And so you're going to have a baby who's not satisfied, who's fussy, and who's not gaining weight properly, and then you're going to have a doctor who tells the mom, and a society that tells the mom, oh, you're starving your baby by breastfeeding. So, don't do that. Again, that's another really dangerous myth. Another myth is that babies must feed from both breasts at every feed, or the milk supply will not be stimulated. And once again, this is another circumstance where we think we're smarter than Mother Nature, or we think that we're smarter than the babies who have the instinct to feed. A baby will breastfeed until they're done. Um, this goes for limiting the baby's feed as well as trying to make the baby take both breasts when it's not interested. Sometimes a baby will just want the foremilk from one breast and be done. Sometimes a baby will want foremilk and hind milk from one breast and be done. Sometimes baby will want foremilk and hind milk from one breast and then foremilk from another breast and be done. So baby knows how hungry baby is, and a mom just needs to trust her infant's hunger instincts. Another myth is that babies must feed from only one breast at each feed. That's all they need, and that's the opposite of the previous myth. But again, just as dangerous because, for the same reason, once again, if you don't trust your baby's hunger instinct, then your baby is not going to thrive. There is no regulation or rule that has been adopted by adults, by mankind, that is better than what Mother Nature already has in place. And that's something that really needs to be remembered by anyone who's supporting a new mother in any way, be it healthcare professional, new father, family member, anything like that. And the last myth I want to discuss right now is that you have to drink lots of fluids, like 12 or 14 glasses of fluids a day, or you won't make enough milk. Once again, these arbitrary sort of regulations that are enforced are not true. I mean, I have known mothers who say, they had to drink a lot of water, or they felt like their milk supply really dropped. But then again, myself personally, I didn't change my fluid intake at all. And I had a very sufficient supply to nurse my daughter. I'm still nursing her, and she's almost 2. So you really can't look at any guideline, any artificially imposed restriction of any sort, and say, okay, these are the guidelines you need to follow to be a successful breastfeeding mother. You need to listen to the wisdom that is in the body. And once again, just addressing these myths because I don't want any misinformation to reach the public that would be damaging to the breastfeeding relationship between even one mother and child. And this doll, the breast milk baby, I'm excited about it. I'm excited about the positive effect that it's going to have in sending a good message about breastfeeding throughout the United States. And I highly anticipate that we're going to see more mothers nursing their babies for longer periods of time because of it.